Welcome to another companion podcast by cheapwinefinder.com. This is Domain Dave. We write up a review of a wine on the Cheap Wine Finder website 3-4 times a week. And then we do a companion podcast, and this is it. And today I have a wine that I'm kind of shocked that I haven't had on the website before. We've been doing Cheap Wine Finder for like 13 years. And this is the number one selling Chardonnay for 29 years in a row. It is the Kendall Jackson Vintners Blend Vintners Reserve Chardonnay 2020. It's about $11, $12. I think it lists for $17 on Kendall Jackson's website, but prices are usually higher on websites. They don't want to compete with the stores, and they sell a lot of these in the stores. So in 29 years of Chardonnay, the tastes have gone all over the place. It used to be oaky was good, and then for a while, no oak. And somehow Kendall Jackson, who is a family-owned winery, still is, founded in, I think, 1982. They've been around forever, and they're one of the leaders in the Chardonnay movement in the U.S. You know, way back when nobody drank anything, and then we started drinking Chardonnay and Cabernet Sauvignon, and they brought in Pinot Grigio. And then we started getting, Sauvignon Blanc. They had to call it Fumé Blanc because no one would drink Sauvignon Blanc. It was different back in the old days. And the old days aren't that long ago. It's like the 80s. Just had a sip. I can see why this has been a hit, a huge selling Chardonnay forever. One, they make a lot of it, and it's every store. They have a great distribution. That always helps in wine, but people have to like it and go back and buy it again and again to be the largest selling wine 29 years in a row. And this is like the greatest hits. It's got a little bit of butter. It's got some butterscotch. It's got a wide variety of fruit flavors. It starts out a little sweet, but this is not a sweet wine, just nectar sweet, and that goes away. And there's some spices and some interesting. There's nectarine. There's a little bit of cream. There's that salty, nutty Anlise thing that I always like. There's a flavor for everyone. I mean, obviously. And this is not a dumbed-down Chardonnay. Usually you think something that sells a lot is like the lowest common denominator. They try to appeal to everybody, but I don't think this is it. Go take another sip. No, this has got personality. This has got flavor. This has got some spice. It's got things going on. And there was a lot of... The winemaker was very intentional how he made this. I think most of the grapes, half the grapes more or less come out of Monterey, then about a quarter come out of Mendocino, and then Santa Barbara, and then 0.5% from Sonoma. It's like, why 0.5%? Why bother? But I asked a winemaker that one time. They said everything changes. Everything you do to it changes the wine. Everything. And I know I've also heard some winemakers that 5%, and I don't know if it's in this case, might be from their high-end $80 Chardonnay. They just put a little bit of that in here just to give it a little kick. I don't know they did that, but why else would you put 5% of Sonoma in there unless you just had it lying around? I don't know. Also, the intentionality is like in the oak program. It was 6 months in oak barrels, 4.5% new French oak, and 6.5% new American oak. And they had it down to the fraction. I mean, most tasting notes nowadays are so vague and don't tell you anything. You have to kind of guess. And here they're going down to the fraction to tell you what's up. Now, you wouldn't expect a lot of new oak in this, and they don't, but I think it's 11% new oak. Because the more new oak, the newer barrels give off more oak influence, and that means it takes longer for the wine to come together. So they want to use used oak barrels where some of the influence is already gone. There's less to give. And they have it all figured out that a second use, a third use, and a fourth use all do this. If you put these all together, you'll come up with this. But like I said, this is a wine made with intentionality. The winemaker was very precise, and that's probably another reason why it's number one selling wine Chardonnay for 29 years in a row. they're not fooling around with this wine. We'll take another sip. You know, it's if you haven't had Kendall Jackson Vintners Reserve, you should, because this is like, since it is the most successful, and other wineries are aware of that and are maybe using a little bit of what Kendall Jackson does in their wines, not copying, but finding trends. So if you have this and then you have your own, you can maybe your own favorite. Maybe you can see a few things that come together. So yeah, because this is kind of like ground zero for Chardonnay in the U.S. I think I paid $11, maybe $12 for it. It's not expensive. So it's not it's an affordable Chardonnay. It's amazingly popular, and it's good. It's got flavor. Lots of flavor. It's got a little bit of sweetness. It's dry. It has it all. The acidity makes you smack your lips and want to take another sip. Yeah, that's why it's number one 29 years in a row. Oh, and also, Wine Enthusiast magazine gave this 91 points for the 2020 vintage for a $10, $11 Chardonnay. That's not too shabby. So that's it for me, Domain Dave, cheapwinefinder.com. Like us where you like your podcast, if you will. Push buttons, if you will. And I'll be talking to everybody pretty soon. Keep it cheap. Adios, and bye-bye.